All right, welcome back to Broken Quattros. Today, the Broken Quattro is my S6 Avant. Took it to work the other day. It's just been my daily driver. It has been for the last maybe 2 years or so. It's been really flawless. Haven't had any issues. However, I was at work the other day and I got a check engine light, and it was limiting boost, so I assumed it was like the MAF or something, which it did turn out saying that it was the MAF, but I turned the cycled the computer just with the key off, key on while driving, and it wouldn't come back on. And that's normally not the MAF, because you can start the cars without a MAF hooked up at all. I waited a minute and then it restarted, and I continued. Went to lunch, got back in from lunch, started it up, drove back to work, no problems. Was leaving work, it took a bit longer, didn't start initially, and then it did, and got home, and I changed out, I pulled the codes. I did see a cam position sensor code, but I also just saw the MAF codes. So I changed the MAF, hoping that was it. Tried to drive to work yesterday, and it wouldn't start. So I'm thinking it is actually the cam position sensor. I'm going to pull codes really fast, first thing, just to check it out, see what's going on, and then we'll go from there. But I'm guessing I'm gonna have to take apart the front end a little bit and replace a cam position sensor today. Okay, we have our Ross Tech with the 2x2. Hook up. Okay. I don't think you can see any of that. Let's see. Okay, let's see what we got. Chipset, and check out our fault codes. So yeah, we do have cam position, cam shaft position, and yeah, that's the only one we're pulling. Then engine speed sensor, that's because the engine's not running. I'm gonna try to start it, see if it turns over. I don't think it's going, well, it's gonna turn over, but it also might fire technically. Yeah. Looks like we're gonna do the easy way. The timing belt service is up to date, so I'm not gonna do the whole timing belt service. I'm just gonna try to do the camshaft position sensor, call it good. All right, so I looked in my emergency bag, which is really just my box of stuff. So I actually have, I had a spare MAF in here, which I already swapped out. I have spare N75, some coil packs, a fuel pump, because you never know. I have NOx sensors. I had a diverter valve. I also had a cam position sensor, and I have a cam position sensor tester. So we're gonna go plug this in and just put the nail in the coffin here, make sure that it is that. Should be pretty easy to see if it's whatever. The light's a little thing, so I might just set up the camera to watch the bulb, and we'll go from there. Can't see my face. Anyway, you don't need to see my face. The cam position sensor. So there's a couple things under my engine bay that make this a whole lot easier to kind of diagnose. For example, after cranking, I do have an inline fuel sensor there, or fuel pressure gauge. So that pressure gauge shows me that yes, my pump is pumping and fuel is in the line and fuel is there to be used. Like I said, I'm gonna pop off, this is the cam position sensor, and then the plugs here. I'm gonna plug this into it. This is actually made just from, these are actually the original factory coil harness. I have like a 1.8T coil pack harness on here. So these are actually from the original coil harness, and then it's wired into another 3 thing just from some random thing I had with the added little light bulb. So basically all I have to do is plug this into this and this into that. That's what we're gonna do. All right, now I'm gonna check that video and see if my light was actually lighting up or not. Okay, so I did look at it and it clearly was not lighting up. So that does tell me that there is no cam position signal being sent. Therefore the car is not getting it, therefore the car is not starting. So next step is I need to pop this guy off, pop this guy off, which means we need to move the serpentine belt out of the way. I need to fix this cable anyway, so we might fix that too while we're in here. But yeah, we'll take off the timing belt cover, and then we should have access to the timing belt. We'll zip tie the timing belt to the timing thing and continue. Okay, so I got a 17 on my, this is the serpentine tensioner. I also have an Allen key that I'm going to use to hold it back. So we're just going to kind of rotate. Tensioner is very good, actually. Okay, so that's locked. Now if I need to take this off, I can. I'm trying to sneak it out. I don't know if it's going to sneak. Let's see. Come on. Okay, we're just taking off the cover here. I think most of these have died or fallen off or whatever, but it's kind of in the way of what we're trying to do. That's off. Now you can see these bolts better. Let's see. Pretty sure these are 6, yeah. It's always funny when you kind of get stuck in your own head and you're like, oh, I need to find the right tool. And then I was like, oh, why don't I just use like a regular Allen key? And bada bing, that's the one we needed. Trying to find the right tool for the job when really it was the simplest tool for it. Okay. Sneak this out. Of course. Gotta love the previous owner. He marked most of this stuff. Can't tell what it says, but he did mark it. There we go. All right. Timing belt cover is off. We're gonna turn this, it's kind of loose. Maybe we'll loosen that up or tighten that up a little bit. I'm gonna turn it top dead center, and then I'm gonna pop off my bolt here. And yeah, just so it's all at top dead center. It's not far off, but just need a rotation. Okay.
Okay, so it's at top dead center. I'm just gonna put some zip ties on here so that the belt stays in the same position on the actual sprocket. It's not really totally needed, but it's good insurance. Come on. Okay, now what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get this bolt off without moving timing that much. I don't like using impacts on any of this stuff, so I don't. However, I do sometimes hit it with my hand to give it a quick jolt just to free it up a little bit. So we'll see what happens here. So this is kind of a shallow bolt too, so you want to make sure you have a good grab on it. I got a little ahead. Took off the old one. It's amazing how nice it is. Pretty sure that's been all replaced. Maybe it hasn't. But we got that off. I mean, here's the crappy part about these is it's not obvious that it's broken. It's just looks normal. So we're gonna pop it off. It's just two 5mm Allens. We'll pop that off and then we'll get a replacement going. I have some decisions to make. I have 4 spare cam position sensors. All 4 I know are working. To what degree, I don't know. So there's 2 different styles. Like these are both OEM ones. They just kind of have, one has like a narrow little thing like that. That's actually more of the style that's on this one. And there's one that has a little thicker one. Normally I like the thicker ones. I also have this one, which is a thicker one, and this is an aftermarket one on a factory thing. So I kind of trust that one. However, like they also all are kind of janky on this side. So this one has no plug. This one has this is the new sensor with some janky JB Weld stuff going on here. And then this one, which is... Welcome back. We took a brief intermission because of a dead battery. I dropped tools. I decided to go with this one. It is the narrow style, but it's OEM, it's clean, and it looks decent. I was just taking a nice soft bristle toothbrush and kind of trying to clean up. These are magnetic, and so sometimes you get a little bit of miscellaneous stuff on there. So I was just trying to clean it up, make it look decent. Not using any cleaner on it, just trying to make it so that there's no furry little things on the magnet or anything like that, random pieces of metal. And then I'm going to clean up the tips as well, just get those. I actually have a wire brush that I'll use for that. They look decent, but they always use a little cleaning. So we're just gonna pop this off. Pop these bolts out. I took off the top cross member piece here. It's a bunch of just 10mm bolts. It's actually really easy to take off. Just gives me a little bit more room to work. And it doesn't take much time at all to take it off, so it was just worth it. So boom, there's the bolts. Sometimes these are really sticky. I don't know if you can see it. But this bracket, it's held on through just one thing, but you just kind of have to work it off. Mine actually came off really nicely. This is a very late head. It has the machine part. But there's a little alignment hole here. This guy in the middle. Sometimes you get some corrosion in there and they can be very soft and brittle. And if you're replacing it and trying to keep your bracket so that you can put a new sensor on it, which I will do, like these brackets are NLA, But you can swap out a new sensor and put a new aftermarket sensor on this bracket. Be careful removing this because it is old, kind of that hot metal. It's nothing fancy, it's nothing nice. So be gentle with it and pull it off nicely. That's my advice. Oh man, I gotta pop this bolt off, of course. Let's see. Where'd my 10 mil go? Never can find the 10 mil. Seriously though. Where the hell did it go? Okay, again, this is the old one. It appears to be an OEM sensor, and there's absolutely no cracking. There's no signs that show that it's not working. It does have a lot of sludge on it. But yeah, we're gonna swap it out. I'm just gonna talk about something really fast. It's kind of important. So obviously, one of the things you want to inspect is the keyway on the cam gear. It's very important that there's no damage to this. This actually looks like, I mean, it could be original, but it looks very nice, very new. The other thing, the reason I have these on here is to kind of keep the timing belt where it's at. When you're putting this back on, you need to make sure your routing is correct. So you're on the right side of the roller, the water pump's engaged, all your things are engaged. And then you should be able to get it on there. Sometimes it's a little bit of a stretch, and you kind of got to play with it. This one actually is going on really, really nicely. So that's actually on, right back where it was. And yeah, I still got the crank lock tool just kind of sitting there in the bottom, just holding it in place. And yeah, I'm gonna put in this bolt, and then it should be still timed. This has, you know, a good solid 90-degree turn here. I actually might, this feels a little loose to me. I'm gonna probably tighten that up just a little bit, just for kicks. That might be why it was easier for me to get it on. Generally speaking, this is the side that's important, the tightness. This side is less important, but you don't want it sloppy either. And this does feel a little sloppy, and it's really easy because it's just 3 bolts that hold this tensioner, and then I can just kind of give it a little bit of a crank and tighten those back down. These ones you gotta be careful with. They're small 10 mils. You don't want to put too much torque on them. They will break. And then you spend the day pulling out bolts, and nobody likes that. Let's take it out of the way. Got 2 bolts tight. Get the last one down here. Okay. That's a lot tighter there, and it actually tightens up this a little bit too. So that feels much, much, much better. Almost maybe too much. It's got enough though. All right, well, let's look at the camera, but I'm guessing it worked. Okay, so we diagnosed, we figured out the problem, we took everything apart and fixed it, and now it's running, and I can assemble the front end back again. So yeah, next step is put on the timing belt cover. All this is all buttoned up. get that tightened down, get it on there. Then I can put back on my tensioner, get my accessories back, and we'll put on the front little cover and we should be done. It sucks that this happened. I'm kind of curious because, I mean, the whole circumstances under which it fell, like my MAF was acting up. It was giving me limited boost. I did have a MAF code as well. And so yeah, I replaced the MAF and it didn't fix the problem. Now, like I said, when the problem initially happened, so a common thing to do is to cycle the motor just to see if the code, you know, comes off or whatever, and just to see if it would go back into regular mode and it wasn't in limp mode. It was basically just holding me at 5 PSI. As soon as I turned off the thing and I tried to turn it back on to on and just basically compression start it, it wasn't compression starting and it halted, and basically I slowed down and stopped on the side of the road. I don't know if that was what caused the cam position sensor to go faulty, if something it didn't like about that action. I don't know. It's really weird. It is very dirty. The sensor is very dirty. I don't know if you could have gotten away with just cleaning it. But I don't know. Like, you can't. GoPro's not going to get any of this action. It is very nasty. Yeah, GoPro's not even going to focus. GoPro doesn't like macro, but it's very nasty. I don't know what happened, but maybe my actions caused it, maybe they didn't, but my actions did fix it. So this is a good way to do this. It's probably not the Bentley described manner, but it's the quicker and easier way without having to drain all your fluids, replace your whole timing belt. If this car had been due for a timing belt service, I would have done it. But I think it's only got, if I remember correctly, I'll have to look at the odometer, but it's got 20,000 miles on the belt, 30,000 at most. So it really isn't time for the belt. And so I'm not gonna do it if it doesn't need it. I do trust the previous owner who worked on this and who has documentation showing when he had that done, and, or well, actually when he did it. He was a mechanic, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna button this back up and it'll be good to go. So thanks for watching. Hope it was informative, and yeah, stay tuned for more randomness on my channel.